back into our continuing coverage of Hurricane Sandy. Just want to bring you the very latest. This is as of the 5 p.m. advisory from the Hurricane Center. Again, we're still talking about 75-mile-per-hour winds, just that extraordinarily low pressure. Again, just showing you the intensity of this storm. And, of course, that northeastern movement at 15 miles per hour. It has not even quite begun that turn to the north and eventually to the northwest. Really, each one of these advisories at this point are just going to be kind of little tweaks, as we do expect these, again, the effects to really start filling in across some of the areas of the Mid-Atlantic. Even or coming in early tomorrow, some of these areas have already started to see some of the effects in the form of some of that heavy rain right across the Delmarva. And in case you are just joining us, a major development today in New York City, Mayor Michael Bloomberg has called for the evacuation of Zone A. Now, that does include Battery Park City, and that's where we find storm tracker Jim Cantore right now. And Jim, you know, it's almost difficult to tell people exactly what to expect of this. You know, if you normally wait for hurricane warnings and that sort of thing, we're trying to explain to kind of go look at some of the flood advisories and some of the high wind warnings just to get a concept of what the true forecast is here.
Yeah, there's a lot of statements out. You're exactly right, Todd. You've got coastal flood warnings. You've got high wind warnings. You've also got something that I've never even seen before called a hurricane force wind warning for New York City and Long Island. And, you know, 70 to 80 miles per hour is what they're expecting there. But either way, I mean, a hurricane warning, I think, would have solved all that problem. But, you know, our job right now is to get everybody out of harm's way and make sure that they are protected for this storm and realize that it's going to be a long, drawn-out event of rain and surge through several high tide cycles and an impact zone that is going to stretch over many, many states all the way back toward the west. I was just looking at the radar on my phone here, and, you know, it was interesting. This morning, it looked like it tried to rain. We had a couple of spits of rain in through here, but most of the rain is in South Jersey right now. Philly's already had some rainfall, Allentown, Scranton, certainly nothing to what we're seeing. It's just really kind of a raw day here in New York City. Temperatures are kind of holding in the upper 50s and low 60s, and that wind coming off the harbor. One of the things that has alarmed me, though, that has just occurred here, guys, we just saw a Norwegian cruise ship leaving port. I understood from a couple people I was talking to this morning that happens every Sunday. They leave at 4 o'clock. They go out to Bermuda on this cruise ship, and it had people on it. But we've already got we've got 30-foot seas, perhaps even higher, between us and Bermuda right now. So, you know, I'm concerned about that cruise ship and some of the people on it. That is going to be one heck of a ride, no question about it here. Our weather goes downhill tonight. It gets worse tomorrow morning, and tomorrow night we should be certainly at the height of this storm, where we could see that forecast total water rise above mean low water at about 11.7 feet, which puts it about right here where I am in the Battery. All right, let's go down to Point Pleasant. Mike Seidel's been standing by. Mike, what do you gather, you know, in terms of, you know, from the people? I mean, are they really concerned about this, as concerned as they should be?
They are very concerned about this. They know this is going to be worse than Irene. Irene was no picnic here, Jim. In fact, it tore up the boardwalk. And we've got, as you mentioned, high tides, several high tide cycles to get through. One tonight. That's not going to be the one real concern. It'll be the two tomorrow. Tomorrow morning about 8 o'clock, give or take 30 minutes up and down the Jersey Shore. Tomorrow night at 8:30. Now, remember, if you live inland on a back bay, Raritan Bay and estuary, the water will peak later. Now, with that said, the tide is coming in. It's already come up as high with some of these waves washing across the beach as it was this morning. We're about 2.5 to 3 hours away from high tide. So each successive high tide will be higher. Looking down the beach, look at that surf behind me. They are crashing. Now off the coast, checking some of the buoys south of Long Island. We've got waves now running 15 to 17 feet. Now this morning when I came out here at first light at 6, 7 o'clock, they were running about 7 or 8 feet. So we've more than doubled the wave height, and that swell will propagate up. And remember, the storm is still about 500 miles south of New York City. 500 miles. Landfall's not until sometime maybe tomorrow evening or after midnight. So we've got to get through all day tomorrow. Mandatory evacuation has kicked in as of 4 east of the railroad tracks. There are still a lot of people out on the streets and in town, and the police are trying to get everybody to get inland or get inside and stay safe. Again, this is going to be a long-duration surge event. More damage by far than last year's Hurricane Irene. They know that, and everybody is nervous. Todd, back to you.
All right, Mike Seidel in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Just incredible what the ocean already looks like out there in the Atlantic, considering that system some 500-plus miles off the coastline there. So continue to follow the situation, of course.